All right, guys, we are going to review November 18th and 19th, Tuesday and Wednesday, of the Meg the Stallion versus Milagro Gramz defamation lawsuit. We're going to start with Megan Cunif's tweets on the 18th to break it down, and then we will move on to the 19th. She also has a couple articles on her website that we are going to talk about. Okay, let's get into this. She starts us off on the 18th in the morning, and she says, "We haven't heard much about damages yet, but a Rock Nation executive is to testify about opportunities that Meg could not capitalize on as she was unable to be fully present in her career because of Miss Cooper's ongoing campaign of harassment." Miss Cooper, Milagro Gramz. Okay. So then she screenshots part of this document. Exhibits are relevant. The email exhibits are probative of Miss Pete's claims for damages. Okay. Courts have consistently upheld jury determinations of emotional distress evidenced by loss of business. So she says here, central to Miss Pete's case are the emotional damages suffered as a result of Milagro's defamatory statements, the coordinated social media campaign with Daystar and Sunstar Peterson, and the promotion of June 8th, 2024 deepfake videos. Miss Pete thus seeks to introduce evidence and testimony concerning brand deals with companies including Activision, Google, Just Eat Takeaways, and the U.S. Soccer Federation. So, because of the deep fake, it impacted her promotion opportunities with all these people, all these companies. It further goes, these were career amplifying opportunities that were available to Miss Pete, but she could not capitalize on as she was unable to fully present in her career because of Miss Milagro's ongoing campaign of harassment and persisted for years. For the jury to fully appreciate Miss Pete's damages, Mr. McKinney should be permitted to testify about these deals with the support of their value and why they did not come to fruition. So Mr. McKinney is apparently the executive for Rock Nation. All right. So it starts us with the first tweet. Let's go to the first tweet. Milagro's lawyers told jurors she's a legitimate business incorporated in Texas. And I'm just not sure it does much with the jury, then shock them that her vulgar rants, understatement, she writes, are legitimate and platform so that people can listen to them regularly. Okay. Now, I don't know if that's a quote or an opinion from Megan Cunif, but that is what she wrote on her tweets. It further goes, a major trial witness the in May in Megan the Stallion's defamation lawsuit against Milagro will be Lenore Walker, a psychologist and pioneer researcher on abused women. She evaluated Megan and will testify about her post-traumatic stress disorders. They had the same thing in the Tasha K lawsuit or trial when they had the therapist that Cardi B was seeing around that time. Okay. Further goes O'Sullivan. Now remember, O'Sullivan is the lawyer for Make the Stallion. O'Sullivan's direct examination of Milagro already seemed far too long, but I think he wanted to stretch it into the lunch break to delay cross because he asked a couple of times to break for lunch early. Judge wasn't having it, so the questioning slogged on. And Megan Cunif further writes, we're on a break until 1:30 p.m. Jurors heard about 15 minutes of Kelsey's pretrial interview with prosecutors and heard Lane's apologetic call to Kelsey from jail. Okay, remember, Kelsey was the friend. This was centered around the shooting, right? And Tory Lanez, again, he's the one that was charged and convicted of this crime and sitting behind bars. They're hearing evidence from that trial to basically show here is evidence. They're showing evidence from that past trial. They've introduced that to this defamation trial. More videos about chickens. We're going to move on. This is what she said on the 18th.
Hello from Miami, where trial is done for the day. Megan Thee Stallion is expected to testify tomorrow. We heard all-day testimony from Milagro today, and much of it was direct examination from Megan's lawyer, John O'Sullivan. We did get to cross-examination with Milagro's lawyer, and he kept it pretty short and just focused on the fact that Megan has told mistruths during this process, during the Gayle King interview about her relationship with Tory and her mistruths to the police about stepping on glass. So he just focused on that and the fact that she never actually accused Megan of perjury. She just is raising the question. So O'Sullivan's direct exam, I thought, got a little too detailed, but he was really trying to focus on how obvious it is that Lanez is guilty and really trying to pound home that evidence.
Which, you know what's so interesting? And before I continue playing it, I had somebody in my comments, right? Somebody when I was first reading the lawsuit, the very first video that some of you guys watched, and I was breaking it down, and they were saying in the comments something to the effect of, you better do your research, you better stick to the facts about this and that and the other, or Megan is going to sue you, some stuff like that. And I sat there and I was like, I didn't know that reading a lawsuit can get you sued. But this is like the fandom that you have. And even thinking a little bit about, I'm not a fan of Meg Thee Stallion. I could say that she's a beautiful woman, good looking, gorgeous. She seems very personable. There's a lot of good qualities that I could see would attract a lot of fans to her. But personally, I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan of all the bops and the wops and the I don't know what she does. I'm like, I made the opinion that there were some mistruths that Meg Thee Stallion gave when the shooting happened. That's not a lie. There were some mistruths that led for people to have different opinions about what actually happened at the shooting. But even with the mistruths that Meg Thee Stallion gave, it didn't deter a jury to find Tory Lanez guilty, right? Like, they still found this man guilty of the shooting, the everything, right? So even though my opinion, which I don't think it's wrong to have this opinion about the fact that Meg Thee Stallion lied a couple times, she misinformed, and maybe she was scared, maybe she about whether she had a relationship with Tory Lanez, whether she slept with him, that was one. If she stepped on glass or was she shot, there were so many things that she put out there that it made kind of people side eye her. And yet, there was still a jury that heard all the evidence and still convicted Tory Lanez. My opinions about what Meg Thee Stallion said earlier on is it doesn't necessarily mean that I discredit Meg now, or even Tory for that matter. I wasn't there. Commentary and commentary to a lawsuit doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get sued. Now, I will say this, and I would have to agree with this. I, myself, and other bloggers, we're not like bound to like a celebrity, right? I don't have to like a celebrity. It's funny to me that Meg's lawyers wanted to be known that Milagro hates Megan. Even if she did, so what? So what? There's a lot of celebrities I don't like. There's a lot of celebrities I don't care about. So what if I hate them? It's my opinion. I'm allowed to. Okay, let's keep going.
So after Milagro got off the stand, Megan's lawyers read an excerpt from Kelsey's trial testimony in which she is asked about the shooting and Tory threatening to shoot her. And I think they're obviously just trying to show jurors that Kelsey's interview with prosecutors before trial, which they heard some of during Milagro's testimony, is much more believable than her trial testimony where she clams up and says she doesn't remember. Having a good time in Miami, and I'm looking forward to covering the rest of the trial for you all. Thanks all. See ya.
All right, shout out to Megan Cuniff. Now hold up. Now it looks like I did miss a couple tweets, but let me read them here. And this is again November 18th. It's difficult to capture the tone and feel of the jury. But there seems to be almost disbelief over Milagro's rants. Then her testimony downplaying her promotion of the cap video and trying to say she doesn't think that was actually a horse leg is just totally disingenuous. Ooh, this is Megan Cuniff, okay? Megan Cuniff is saying that the jury is shocked by the way in which Milagro talks. I think for me is maybe I'm just so desensitized because I've heard the station heads before, guys. I really have. So maybe I'm just conditioned to it at this point. Milagro, either you love her or you don't. That's truly what it is. Like, but it doesn't stop a fan base. This is the problem that I have. That the jury, this is what Megan Cuniff is saying. Megan Cuniff is saying that the jury is so baffled by the way that Milagro talks. Then show the jury a video of the WAP. Show the jury the video of what's that one song? Show the jury Lover Girl. Okay, the latest on Make the Stallion. Show them the music video and then see how they feel about Millie's station heads. Between Milagro expressing herself, vulgar or not, and Meg the Stallion's videos, music videos, what's the issue? That's the thing is, are we trying to silence a woman that's vulgar, that's exercising her First Amendment just because it's not everyday speech that I use on my channel or that y'all use on your channel? It is what it is. We wouldn't want to censor Meg the Stallion's music videos. So it's weird to me how this is being said, but okay. A major trial witness in Meg the Stallion defamation lawsuit against Milagro will be Lenore Walker, a psychologist and a pioneer researcher. And I guess she was Meg the Stallion's evaluator, okay? And then midday, Megan Cuniff provides us an update. So we're going to click on that and see what she had to say on November the 18th.
Hello from Miami, where I'm at the courthouse for day 2 of trial in Megan Thee Stallion's defamation lawsuit against online commentator Milagro Gramz. Milagro is still testifying. She is the first witness. She started testifying yesterday, and she's still on the stand today. She answered questions all this morning from John O'Sullivan, Megan's lawyer. She'll be back at 1:30 after lunch, and I think she could be on the stand all day. And I'm not sure how well it's going for John O'Sullivan in that he seems to want Milagro to just admit that she knew that Tory shot Meg. But Milagro's never going to do that, and she's not doing that now. It's just giving her an opportunity to talk and tell her story about why she believed this, why she believed that. So it's really been going on for a long time. I am not sure how much the jury is really following this stuff. It's just a bunch of people they've never met, and it really gets in the weeds on all this social media banter. And one juror actually asked this morning if they could get clarity on who these people are, who their relationships are. This juror was confused about who Tory Lanez was, and Daystar is Tony. They were confused about who Kelsey is, who the dad is.
Oh, that's not good. Oh, that's not good. Rock Nation. That's not good, guys. It's not good. Did all this for this. And again, like looking at this, if I make the Stallion, okay, yeah, whatever, and the jury hasn't been instructed about who these people are, all the moving parts, that's not good for the person that's filing the lawsuit against the person making the defamation. It's not good. No, it's not.
And they didn't get an answer in public court, but the judge reminded the attorneys of this before they broke for lunch. Just said, hey, remember, the jury is a little confused here. So we'll see how this keeps going. But right now, the trial is already looking like it's going to be way too long. It should be over this Friday, and they're saying it might not be over until next Wednesday. Hello from...
Oh, till next Wednesday. So then Milagro finished testifying around 4:40 p.m. O'Sullivan's minutia focus exam stretched into the afternoon. Milagro's Jerry McLinemuth kept his cross-examination short, focusing on the defamation claim and emphasizing Milagro didn't specifically accuse Megan of perjury, only asked questions. Megan Cuniff further says he also went over Megan's pretrial false statements about not having slept with Tory Lanez and stepping on glass. I'll have much more detail in the article tonight. Okay, so we're going to read this article in a little bit. After Milagro got off the stand, Megan's lawyers read some of Kelsey's trial testimony into the record. And I was reminded how excruciating it was to listen to her in the court, especially her saying, I want to plead my fifth, when she asked about Lanez threatening to shoot her. But I'm sure the point of it was to show the jurors her true testimony and hope that they see her pretrial interview, which they heard earlier in the day as much more credible. So that's the article that was 20 hours ago. Let's get into this article from Megan Cuniff, Legal Affairs and Trials. Okay. So She titles this article, Sued Streamer Says She Bowed Down and Apologized as she believed Tory Lanez shot Megan Thee Stallion. Okay, so this is the outfit that Meg Thee Stallion wore yesterday, for those that are curious. Very cute. Very cute. Defendant Milagro Gramz finished testifying late Tuesday afternoon at the federal court in Miami. Okay. So, an online commentator accused of defaming rapper Meg Thee Stallion testified all day Tuesday about evidence in the criminal case against Tory Lanez. Milagro Gramz answered questions from Megan's lawyer, John O'Sullivan. Now, Megan Cuniff said that kind of dragged on a little too much, and he was trying to pound the fact that Tory Lanez is guilty. Okay. It's almost like they're trying to retry the trial again. I'm like, that's too crazy. For about 4 hours, as O'Sullivan pressed her about her coverage of Lane's criminal trial and convictions for shooting Megan 5 years ago. Milagro testified that she had a 3-way call with Lanez and his father, but never heard about the shooting until she spoke with only Lane's father in February of 2021. She said Peterson was hesitant to say anything that would compromise his son. So he literally stopped before anything that got to the weapon. Okay. So this is a direct quote from Milagro. She is saying that Peterson was hesitant to say anything that would compromise his son, Tory Lanez's dad. Milagro's describing to apparently try to show Lanez had to have told Milagro about the shooting. The lawyer, O'Sullivan, played a recording of Milagro emotionally saying that if Lanez lied to her, she'd want to fight him because he told her they'd be vindicated. Okay. So there's a recording that was played. And here's a quote. You didn't have any personal knowledge of what happened that night, right? O'Sullivan asked, referring to the shooting. Milagro said she wasn't there, so she couldn't have personal knowledge. So whatever you might bring to the table, it's just stuff you found somewhere else, Sullivan asked. Right, Milagro answered. Okay, and the things you were bringing to the table were ways of thinking about what happened that night that might lead Tory be not guilty, right? O'Sullivan asked. No, Milagro answered. Ooh, this is a tricky question that O'Sullivan just asked here, okay? I can't wait to get my hands on the transcripts. This is a question from O'Sullivan. Okay. And the things you were bringing to the table were ways of thinking about what happened that night that might let Tory be not guilty. So it's almost like the question implies that Milagro was bringing, like she's bringing ideas to Tory that somehow might let Tory Lanez not be guilty. Milagro answers no. And you know what? Like that question that O'Sullivan is asking, I could see anybody getting tripped up. Okay, because it's very intentional. It's almost like accusatory. Like, first of all, you're the one making these allegations. You're the one bringing ideas to Tory Lanez, who's already been convicted, right? So Milagro answers it. She's no. Milagro testifies she is always open to the understanding that nobody could be lying to me. Milagro testified. So on the phone call with him and his father, they said that they appreciated my content. And they said to me, just watch everything and you'll see. But he didn't give me details. He just said, you'll see, Milagro testified. That's interesting. What is this statement that Milagro makes? Milagro testifies she is always open to the understanding that anybody could be lying to me. Okay. So she's willing to accept, she says here, that Tory Lanez could have lied to her or that the father could have lied to her, whatever it may be. Okay. But in these phone calls with the father, Sunstar, they just appreciated the content. That's the feedback that they would give her and just wait and see everything that's going to happen. O'Sullivan ended his examination by asking Milagro what she would do if you found out today conclusively that the shooting happened, how the jury found Tory did it. Would you feel bad about anything you said? O'Sullivan asked. I would feel terrible, Milagro answered. But you're positive he's not guilty. So you feel okay defending that in even the most aggressive ways? O'Sullivan asked. I'm not positive, but I have not believed everything. And it's not about if she got hurt, Milagro answered. I know she was hurt, and I hate that she was hurt. I truly do, Milagro continued. But you have to understand from my point of view, she said, and said her mother went to jail my whole upbringing. Oh, wow. I didn't know that about Millie. She says that her mom went to jail her whole upbringing. I come from a negative area where so many people go to jail. Not everyone's guilty, she continued, her emotions arising. So when a black man was being accused of something and the details were shaky, she wanted to be certain of the facts. Okay. If the situation presented itself that made it clear 100%, all I could do is bow down and apologize, Milagro testified. You know what's so crazy? Is Milagro is sharing here. Her mother went to jail my whole upbringing. She says, I came from a negative area where so many people go to jail. Not everyone is guilty. She continues, her emotion were rising. Not everyone is guilty. When the defamation case, when it talks about, and it's coming to me as I'm reviewing this, in the defamation case, there is this allegation that it's alleged that Milagro talked about her, Meg the Stallion's daddy, being in the system and always in the system. But yet here you have a situation where Milagro is sharing and saying that, hey, man, I've had a parent in the system. Okay. Not everyone is guilty. So when a black man was being accused of something and the details were shaky, she wanted to be certain of the facts. And it's interesting because, like, from when I have heard Milagro speak about taking up a cause like this, even in the Kaylan Walker, even though in the Kaylan Walker, she was completely wrong and that man was convicted to 50 years, right? Please note that. She takes up this cause, and sometimes I think she takes it with her heart in her sleeve, right? You want to find the best out of a person. And when the facts don't make sense, you want to make sure that you want to go out there and seek them. And I could see this part of her in having her share this. I understand where she's coming from with this. It further goes. O'Sullivan, which is Meg's lawyer, began his direct examination on Monday and took about 7 hours over 2 days. Milagro's lawyer, Jeremy McLinement, cross-examined her on Tuesday afternoon for about 45 minutes. McLinement asked Milagro about specific incidents in which she believes Megan lied, including saying that she wasn't drunk when Kelsey said they were intoxicated and denying she slept with Tory Lanez, which Milagro said happened multiple times. And that caused a lot of uproar in the community, right? McLinement asked. Yes. Okay, this is what Milagro says. Yes, because she literally said, oh, I don't know why he would say something like that. Milagro also testified about Meg telling police she stepped on glass when they asked if she'd been shot. And when you say that Miss Pete did not tell certain truths, do you have evidence that she did not tell certain truths? I feel like I do, Milagro answered. A jury of 5 men and 4 women is to decide whether Milagro is liable for 3 claims: defamation for saying Meg perjured herself in Lane's trial, intentional infliction of emotional distress for coordinating with Lane's and his father to harass her, and promotion of digitally altered depiction. Okay, so it's 3. For whatever reason, I had written 4 because I think at some point it was the cyber stalking, but that might have been dropped. So that, I apologize, I got that wrong. So yes, that was wrong on my behalf. But now we definitely have some confirmation that it's 3 specific things. O'Sullivan, which is part of the Quinn Emanuel trial team, the Rock Nation trial team, is trying to get jurors to understand years of social media banter and relationships between people who are strangers to them. At least one already is struggling. The U.S. District Judge Celia Tanaga told attorneys Tuesday morning that a juror asked for clarification about names and relationships mentioned in testimony. Oh, snap. That's not good. I already said that. The juror wrote the question down at the judge's direction. I'm unsure about who Tony Lane's day start is. Tony. Sunstar is the dad. Kelsey is former friends of Miss Megan. This juror is so lost, y'all. Help him or her. The judge reminded the attorneys about the questions later in the day while also recommending they give jurors transcripts of the audio recordings being played. I'm understanding maybe 80% of what I hear, the judge said. And you have the jury's questions about trying to understand relationships and meanings. I'll remind you of that. The judge didn't answer the juror's question, but McLineman began his cross by having Milagro identify Tory Lanez's real name as Daystar Peterson, his father as Sunstar Peterson, and Kelsey Harris as Megan's friend who was with her the night she was shot. Okay. More from Milagro's direct examination. Some of Solomon's examination was aimed at showing jurors Milagro's connection to Lanez and his father. Milagro said Sunstar Peterson became a father figure to her, and they discussed topics other than his son's case, such as his interest in cooking and podcasting. Jurors saw a timeline that included Milagro texting Lanez in September 2020 that an exclusive would change her life. Milagro getting a station head contact in May 2021, her visiting Lanez and his father in Miami in February 2022, and Milagro posting Lanez's cap music video and features him chopping up at an apparent horse leg. They also saw a list of $3,000 in electronic transfers from Lanez's father to Milagro between October 28, 2020 and March 3rd, 2022 in 6 payments between $200 and $1,000. O'Sullivan questioned Milagro about her tweet in February of 2022 that falsely said Lanez's DNA wasn't found on the gun when the finding was actually inconclusive, meaning he wouldn't be included or excluded as a contributor to the DNA found on the gun he used to shoot Megan. He and streamer DJ Academics posted about the DNA before it was discussed in court, but Milagro testified Tuesday she saw Academics' post and shared her own version because it corroborated things that multiple people had told me. That's a quote. O'Sullivan displayed Milagro's handwritten notes from Lanez's December 2022 trial in Los Angeles, in which she wrote, Tory inconclusive, Tory cannot be included. Then he played a recording of Milagro's live stream that began, Tory Lanez voluntarily submitted to a DNA test and his DNA was not found on the weapon. This is a fact. Sue me if there's not a form that black and white states this. I'll wait. If I'm lying, then challenge me, bitch. Then sue me. Then, no, I'm not retracting a damn thing. And I'm not doing nothing. So no face, no case. I spoke to my sources. They live on the moon. Not the moon, girl. The recording was about 4 minutes long. Milagro testified she didn't have an exact name of who told her about the DNA report. So it's been said that the DNA report came from a lawyer, that it could only have been leaked by a lawyer party to the case, the Tory Lanez case. Multiple people came to me. I have a personal relationship with all the different people, she said. Can you give me the name of a single source you relied on? No, Milagro said. Here is Milagro leaving with their attorney. So this was again on the 18th. Okay. O'Sullivan played 3 to 4 minute recording of Milagro talking about the Trauma Olympics. I told y'all a long time ago that people value and what they see in Megan. Milagro said, she said hoes, and I'm going to say it just like that, you hoes. And value Megan because it makes you feel like the way that you live your life is okay. All y'all walking around in La Land, not being accountable for the bullshit that y'all do, the lies that y'all tell, the shit y'all stir up, Milagro said. And then you look at her win an award and you say, ooh, I can do it too. Rah, great. And nobody has to address the problems. She also said Megan wouldn't be in a situation if she had someone to tell her to put the bottle down. So again, implying that alcoholic part. Milagro also said on the recording that y'all mad at Tory and want him to be the scapegoat for your bad decisions. She compared it to hoes you get pregnant and claim they were raped. Yeah, sure, Jan, Milagro said. O'Sullivan said the recording was just before this lawsuit was filed. Why were you speaking with such vitriol against Megan in 2024? Milagro said her grandparents introduced her to Richard Pryor and Bernie Mac and others. So when it's time for me to do a show, I feel that's when you step into the terrace. So with this, let me stop. Is she implying that she's just doing a show? Like she doesn't really mean it. She's playing a character. Is that what she's doing? Shock jock, Howard Stern, right? Like I'm sure Howard Stern has been sued before, but that level, people expect that kind of shock jock part. So she's being performative. This is what Milagro is saying. Milagro says she speaks about others in the same way because she has the same passion, conviction. Also questioned Milagro about her social media posts and recordings in which she questioned whether Megan is mentally incapacitated and needed a guardian. Milagro said the post was based on a friend of Megan's telling her that she wasn't sleeping with her manager, Travis Ferris, because Ferris is like a guardian to her. O'Sullivan mentioned a guardian angel and asked if Milagro based her comments about Megan being mentally incapacitated on a single word. I felt that, and this is a quote, I felt that was odd verbiage for someone of her age. Typically, for someone her age, you don't use the word guardian, Milagro said. O'Sullivan also questioned Milagro about Kelsey's interview with prosecutors before Lane's trial after he played a 15-minute excerpt in which she detailed Lane's assaulting her, then shooting Megan. Milagro testified at length about why she doesn't believe Kelsey was truthful, including that Lanes told her in the SUV before the shooting that he'd been sleeping with Megan when Kelsey was interested in Tory Lanez. A woman just found out that her best friend slept with her guy behind her back. To me, that is motive, Milagro testified. She also referenced police station photos that showed Megan with a knot on her head and Kelsey with scratches, while Lanez didn't have any defense wounds or anything wrong. So I heard what she said, but it did not align with multiple accounts, Milagro said, of Kelsey's pretrial interview. You're here today to tell us that she was wrong when she said that's what happened, O'Sullivan asked. I'm here to tell you that there were multiple people who saw different things, Milagro answered. More from Cross. McAlignment asks about the some 20,000 messages deleted that O'Sullivan questioned her about in direct examination. Do those thousands of messages have anything to do with Daystar or Sunstar Peterson? McLyman asked. No, it would be virtually possible because we have never communicated to that extent. Did she mean to say virtually impossible or possible? I think she meant to say impossible. There's a typo here. Jurors will be instructed that Milagro deleted thousands of texts and removed the WhatsApp messaging services from her phone in violation of a legal notice, and that jurors should assume that and infer the defendant intended to deprive plaintiff of the evidence in the deleted messages, and that at least some of the deleted messages related to the claims in this case were about plaintiff, and that these deleted messages were unfavorable to defendant. McLyman referred Peterson's payments to Milagro by confirming them, then asking, "You didn't get offered $1 million?" "No, I did not," Milagro answered. "Was not to pay you for your mouth, correct?" "That's correct. It was not," Milagro answered. Milagro said that the money was for her birthday and for her two daughters' birthday on one occasion, maybe two or three. Peterson also paid her for promotional services for his podcast, and I believe he had written a book on the separate occasion, she testified. McLyman asked Milagro about other online personalities who support Lane, such as DJ Academics Joe Budden and Aiden Ross, to make the point that all have much larger following than her, but they aren't being sued. I would agree. Sorry, I'm like, why aren't the other people being sued? She doesn't have the larger following. Milagro doesn't. And yes, I get it. There people came into my comments and said they're being deposed. That could be the next step. Maybe or maybe not. I don't know. McLyman displayed a message. Lyman displayed a message to Milagro's hotline and asked her to read one aloud from Nicole from Philly. Is every source legitimate? McLyman asked. No, Milagro answered. Do you evaluate leads and tips that come in from different sources? McLyman asked. Yes, Milagro answered. Milagro said she speaks about topics other than Megan, including politics, relationships, other celebrities, and my own personal life. That, I mean, is accurate. That's accurate. She does speak about other things. She doesn't just talk about Meg. She talks about all kinds of things. Lyman also emphasized that Milagro never formally accused Megan of perjury. Does this tweet here say that Megan lied on the stand? McLyman asked. No, Milagro answered. McLyman asked if the tweet is about a bigger, more general topic of Megan and other witnesses potentially lying or not having proper credibility. Yes, that's what I was talking about, Milagro answered. McLyman confirmed that she watched the entire trial and took 2 notebooks worth of notes. Then she says she has a right to your own opinion as to what you saw throughout the course of the trial. Milagro says she agreed. McLyman also emphasized that Megan had bullet fragments in her feet, not whole bullets. He referenced a Shade Room post that said the bullets in Megan's feet match Lane's gun. A bullet would be the complete bullet, she said. McLyman also brought up Lane's apologetic text to Megan and his apologetic call to Kelsey and emphasized he never specifically mentioned a shooting when he apologized. After Milagro left the stand, Megan's lawyer read some of Kelsey's testimony from Lane's trial, in which she answers yes to confirm Lane's threatened to shoot her, but said she couldn't remember what she said. The testimony included Kelsey dodging questions about her pretrial interview with prosecutors and saying that she made false statements in the interview. Kelsey also confirmed she texted Meg's security, "Help, Tory shot Megan, 911," and said she did so because I was in a panic. Now the accusations that you shot Megan is false. Is that correct? Yes, Kelsey answered. So they're taking us back to that testimony. Megan is expected to testify on Wednesday. Psychologist Lenore Walker likely will testify after her. She was at the courthouse on Tuesday and watched Milagro's testimony. Okay, so people are aware that was Tuesday. Breakdown. Pretty intense. We're going on to Wednesday now. All right, so then we come to November 19th, and she doesn't have, Megan Cuniff does not have an article on her page yet, but we're definitely going to follow up for the 19th. Good morning from Miami, where it's day 3 of trial in Meg the Stallion defamation lawsuit against online commentator Milagro Gramz. Jury right now are seeing excerpts from the deposition of Livingston Allen, aka DJ Academics. Okay, starts us off in the morning. And one thing I should have mentioned, she says in the article and yesterday, is that Megan's lawyer, John O'Sullivan, had Milagro read aloud the jury verdict form convicting Tory Lanez of all 3 counts. I definitely thought of the internet when that happened. Oh, man. Okay. She says, jurors saw some of the Caesar McDowell deposition after academics. McDowell is the founder of Unite the People, which initially represented Milagro. Jurors heard of a prison call Lanez made to McDowell, in which they discussed representing Milagro. Okay. Interesting. Unite the People is the lawyer advocacy group. And actually, Tory Lanez had worked with this advocacy group before. So they represented Tory Lanez in the appeal as he appealed his 10-year sentence for the shooting of Meg the Stallion. So you have the Unite the People that was clearly in conversations about representing Milagro. Okay. And that's what the jury just heard. I'm proud to say I mentioned on the call when Tory Lanez says the Megan Cuniff lady talking about how we don't know what we're doing. Megan's lawyer asked McDowell, who is Megan Cuniff? And he answered, I don't remember. Tory Lanez was not a fan of Megan Cuniff. Okay. Actually, a lot of Tory Lanez fans are not fans of Megan Cuniff. You guys are entitled to your opinion. Again, that's where the googly eye bitch comes from. Okay. And Megan Cuniff made merch off of that. So she asked if Megan Cuniff was a journalist writing about Lane's conviction for shooting Megan. And McDowell again answered, I don't remember. Okay. We are finally at the lunch break. We are finally at the lunch break after testimony from Megan's friend and manager Travis Ferris, who talked about how social media vitriol hurts Megan. He testified he got her into a treatment center that cost $240,000 a month. Are you sure that wasn't like a spa or a holiday resort? $240,000 a month for treatment? I don't know, but I'm gonna have to see a bill for that one. I can believe it. One of those high-end resorts. I can believe it. That's crazy. Daniel McKinney of Rock Nation testified. Okay, let's see, make sure I'm not missing any of them. Daniel McKinney of Rock Nation testified about brand opportunities for Megan that fell apart. So Activision, Call of Duty, Googleplex, Just Eats Takeaway, and U.S. Women's Soccer Federation. Megan ditched Call of Duty when she learned she would be a shootable character in the game. She didn't want to be a shootable character. Yeah, I wouldn't have expected her to be a shootable character if she's a victim of a shooting, right? Like, I wouldn't, who would do that? Like, the jokes that would come out of that. Anyways, that triggered her, and she full stop said, I'm not doing this, McKinney said. Good. There was some shade thrown at Nicki Minaj and Cross. Would you consider Nicki Minaj an A-list celebrity? Milagro's lawyer, Jeremy McLyman, asked. McKinney paused, then said, in hip-hop, yes. Oh. Why was... There was a question asked about Nicki Minaj, and if you would consider her an A-list celebrity. She says, in hip-hop, yes. What about Miss Pete? McLyman asked. Miss McKinney immediately said yes. McLyman asked if that's in hip hop, and McKinney said in entertainment. Okay. There's a reason Minaj first came up that I'll try to include in the next story. So much info to sort through right now. This is what Megan Cuniff wrote. Lord have mercy. I cannot wait to read the transcripts on this. Okay. Then Megan said psychologist Lenore Walker began testifying a few minutes ago. All right. So that was 4 hours in. Armand has the context on why Nicki Minaj was mentioned. She got the Call of Duty role after Megan pulled out. Oh, so Megan Thee Stallion, Rock Nation rep also revealed that Megan was supposed to have the Call of Duty skin first, but Megan pulled out due to the PTSD. So they gave it to their competitor, Nicki Minaj. That's interesting. Okay. Milagro's lawyer, Natasha, asked Lenore Walker, a psychologist for 50 years and pioneering researcher on abused women, about Megan's very public beef with Nicki Minaj to try to show there are other reasons for Megan to be upset. Okay. See? Do you know who Nicki Minaj is? Natasha asked. I once saw her on television, so I think I know who she is, Walker answered. All right, so Walker is the therapist. Natasha went on to explain what a diss track is. She doesn't know what a diss track is. That's not good. The living legend, Lenore Walker. So this is the lady that gave the assessment to Meg Thee Stallion and who apparently knows Megan Cuniff, okay? Or at least has seen her in different cases. Okay, so then it goes and it jumps into fans basically when Meg Thee Stallion is leaving the courtroom. All right.
Focus on the people that love me. Focus on the love. Just like you took your height, your childhood insecurity, so do that to everything.
So many people. We love you.
We love you. We can't wait for you to testify.
We can't wait. Thank y'all.
All right. Look at Tom. We got to get Rock Nation here.
Wow.
You're looking great too. Yes.
Okay, so that was the video. Fans cheered Megan Thee Stallion as she left the federal courthouse in Miami after the third day of defamation lawsuit against online commentator Milagro Gramz. Okay, and then they got the video of Milagro leaving as well. Hold up. Dang, they really following everybody. All right. So that's what happened. Every yeah, everybody's acting and reacting to the situation, y'all. So I don't see a new article as of this recording in Megan Cunif's blog. Nothing yet. So we'll probably follow up tomorrow on that. Guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Again, we're waiting for the transcripts. Not heard back yet. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button, supporting, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.